Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jim and Frank's Thursday Throwdown!
Jim, welcome to another Thursday Throwdown.
Thursday Throwdown.
Ooh. Hey, what band and what records are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about some of our, well, at least one Charter Oak alumni.
Okay.
Motley Crue.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about the debut album up against their follow-up, Shout at the Devil.
Oh my goodness. Too Fast for Love.
Yep.
What a record. Now, are we going to talk about the Leather Records version or the spineless Elektra version?
I don't know if they removed the teeth out of it completely. I mean,
They cleaned it up.
the songs are what they are, right? But
Right.
I hate the mix.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. So again, those songs were pretty darn good, though. You gotta give them that. That was a hungry young band.
Product of their time.
Yep.
Hungry young band, I would say. I got to see them on a tour, club tour, after Too Fast for Love had been released on Elektra.
Right.
Didn't seem like they were using tapes. Seemed
Probably not that time, huh?
pretty live.
I don't know when that all transpired, to be honest with you.
I don't know either. Great Night was Stormer, Rat, and Motley Crue at the country club.
Okay, you saw them in a nice small venue.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw them on the grass at Irvine Meadows for the Creatures of the Night tour.
Oh, they were opening up.
Yeah. So they played a quick set and they were good. I don't think they, broke any trends that night or anything that I remember. But I knew the record. I knew the record. So Too Fast for Love, 1981, right? Year we graduated.
Yeah.
So the singles, Live Wire, and Stick to Your Guns was a single that didn't make the Elektra album, right?
Yeah.
And I love that song.
Weirdly. And that song was they had released a 7-inch 45 even before they released Too Fast for Love, and it was Stick to Your Guns, and the B-side was Toast of the Town.
Toast of the Town.
Which also didn't make the album, and it's probably one of my all-time favorite Motley Crue songs.
Well, Stick to Your Guns is mine, and I think what it is we don't have that high-pitched squeal of Vince Neil. It's more normal, almost singing, and I don't care for the cowbell so much because it just rings and rings and rings. But
yeah,
I don't know. I like the raw version of the Leather Records album.
It's a potent record, and I think song wise, I think the songs on there are solid.
Right.
I always tell everybody I unapologetically love that record.
Right.
Come at me, bro. I don't care. You can diss it all day long. You can diss the Crue all day long. I love that album.
Some of the songs I'm looking at right now, Come On and Dance, Public Enemy #1.
That's my favorite on there.
Right, Take Me to the Top. That was a good one.
Yep.
I don't care so much for Starry Eyes.
Kind of a mid-pace song. It's a little sappy, but
and
I don't see it as a filler song. I think it's pretty solid.
I don't think that record had filler. I really don't. I think it was a good first effort for them. I don't know. It went platinum. It sold.
Yeah.
So for a band, especially in 81, where that LA scene was starting to really explode, they were the cream of the crop.
Probably It probably went platinum after
Yeah.
Shout, I'm guessing,
Oh,
came
Shout
out,
took them.
right?
That's a whole nother. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Shout at the Devil took them into the stratosphere, and um, I didn't even want to like that album because I was like, this LA rock sound there. It's all just Nikki Six. I don't know what it was. He bothered me. It's Tommy Lee bothered me. It just I did. But Mick Mars was the cool factor. He was his guitar playing was bluesy but hard rock, and I didn't know it back then that he was what 10 years older than the guys, 5 years or whatever.
Right.
And
I met him outside the Troubadour one night. Uh, I don't know what they were doing. Is after Shout had come out. Um, just kind of blasted out of his mind.
yeah,
He was real apologetic, and he's all
right.
sorry. I'm a little.
He's out of it. Huh?
But very nice. He stood there and talked to me for probably 10 minutes. And
Right. I don't think I've ever read a story about him being rude or bad with the fans. I think he gave people time when he had the time to give.
yeah, well, they hadn't really hit like superstar status at that
Right.
point, right? So,
Well, once that album took off, Shout at the Devil went 4 times platinum.
yeah, I can imagine.
It sold. Again, we always talk about this. MTV was a thing, and Shout at the Devil, Looks That Kill. I don't like Helter Skelter. If I could have one song of theirs, I would rather Helter Skelter not be there.
Yeah, you know what's weird? I didn't even remember that being on the record.
Right. It is to me.
So
A
I went
throwaway
back and I
tune.
was all like, "Oh, that's forgettable."
Yeah. Well, you know what they say about a cover tune. If you can't do it justice or do anything better, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
And they don't make it better.
No, well, how do you can't improve on the Beatles?
No, exactly.
You're not going to out Beatle the Beatles.
Nope. Some of the other songs, Red Hot, Too Young to Fall in Love.
Big hit.
Yep. Knock 'em Dead Kid.
Yeah.
10
I
Seconds
actually
Left.
like Knock 'em Dead Kid.
Yeah, that's a good tune. Very, very catchy tune. Wow. I don't know. I saw them live again several years later. Tommy was out of the band at the time. I think I think in the past I thought it was when they had the female drumming for him. I think it was Randy Castillo. I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if that was before Generation Swine or during that time.
I don't know. I kind of checked out on those
Yeah.
cats.
Well, I
They weren't
actually
doing anything all that interesting anymore.
right. I had gone to Universal Amphitheater to see Scorpions, and Motley Crue played before them, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, Scorpions are just class act rock and roll live band that
I'm going to say probably blew Motley off the stage.
completely off
Yeah.
the stage. Yeah. And I remember leaving thinking, this is sad, that they just don't have it anymore. But when you put them with a band like Scorpion, I think even LA Guns was the opener, if I'm not mistaken. Even they were better than Motley at that point.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But man, I don't know. Two great records. You have different reasons for liking both records. Again, the first one is it was their first album. It's when we really were introduced to them. Good songs. And then Shout at the Devil, which was, like I say, took them to a whole new level.
Yeah. I think Shout's a pretty solid record.
Right.
But if I had to pick one, it would be Too Fast for Love.
Really now. Okay. I think in the past when we've discussed this, I've probably said Too Fast for Love. But as time has gone by and I've listened to them both side by side and over, I'm going to go Shout at the Devil.
It's produced better, that's for sure.
Well, Tom Werman was on board. I think they produced their record there by themselves with a few outside people to help. But
Yeah, and that was the thing about listening to that again was just seeing how much more polished it is.
Right.
But I like that rawness of the first record.
Yeah, I do too.
Again, my copy, Leather Records version.
Right.
I think I texted you this today. There's no way on God's green earth that Nikki Sixx played on Danger. That's not his playing.
Right.
He doesn't
Right.
play like that.
Yeah.
They got somebody in there to play that bass part.
Knock that out for him. Yeah. And it's very possible that happened on more than one occasion.
But there's other things on there, like was it Too Young to Fall in Love? That's definitely his playing.
Right.
It's very simple. It's very quarter notey. Right. There's nothing to it.
Right. Yeah.
That bass line on Danger was beyond him at that point. I just know for a fact. Either Mick played it or they got somebody else in to do that.
No, I'm gonna have to go back and double listen again and really hone in on the bass sounds because I so many, I'm listening to Mick on the guitar so much. The riffs he plays, just love them.
Yeah. And I think Mick was getting better as he went along.
He did. He got better, and I think the production technique they were using also, he was doubling, tripling his guitar as well. So you can definitely tell it got fatter.
That little instrumental he did on there, was it Children of the Beast or something like that?
Yeah, God bless.
I don't know that it added much to the record.
Didn't. Matter of fact, I remember thinking that the first time I heard it. I'm like, what why? We didn't need this. And it's a minute long, minute and a half or something. It's not really
it's
long.
like minute 30, I think. Yeah.
Oh well. Maybe it was just something throw in there just to put a little bit more oomph on the record in time wise.
Maybe so.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we have a split decision this week.
Split decision this week.
Not a bad thing. Too Fast for Love for you and Shout at the Devil for me.
Both solid records. I always say that Right After Shout was the beginning of the decline of the band.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Theater Pain wasn't as good. And Girls is kind of terrible. And
they got in almost to a pop rock sense at that point and hit the trends.
One part when they hit Dr. Feelgood, though, boy, they were. I think Bob Rock really took them to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I think is funny is Shout at the Devil, pentagram on the cover. They were just hammered about even mentioning the devil, and they were bad and all this, and they said, oh no, Nick, I remember seeing an interview and Nikki Sixx says, oh no, it's quite the opposite. We're not saying shout with the devil, we're telling kids to shout at the devil. We're not evil, And then of course years later you got Vince Neil saying, hey, we started all this devil stuff, what are you talking about?
Well, not exactly, but
that wasn't true either.
No. It wasn't true, but a lot of bands latched onto that whole pentagram thing.
Oh yeah, it was an image that they thought might sell some records. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And it's not in the music. Who cares? Who if you don't have the songs in the chops, none of it's going to matter.
Yeah, can we talk just for a couple seconds about the videos? The cool moment in the Live Wire video where they light Nikki Sixx on fire.
Right.
Probably the last time he ever did that.
Yeah.
And he got that from Blackie Lawless.
Right.
And so what they would do is put rubbing alcohol on his boots.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would touch that. And I think Blackie even told him, like, dude, you got to stop doing that. You're going to burn yourself up.
Yeah. You're going to cause an issue here.
And then the other one, Too Young to Fall in Love. I don't think they can make that now. Bunch of dudes in makeup beating up a bunch of girls.
Right. And the only
tough guys beating up on chicks.
The only thing I remember about that video is Tommy Lee spitting out the rice.
Which was a funny moment.
Yes. And that is all I remember. When you were mentioning it, I'm like, I don't remember that video because it was so bad.
Well, he was trying to eat before he went in the door.
Right.
And Nikki sticks his head out and kind of gives him like, we're
Let's
in the
go.
middle of something here. And so he puts it down. And then when he comes back out, he grabs some rice and he spits it out. And then he throws the bowl at the gal that cooked it.
There you
Like
go.
violence against women. I
That's
don't know what's up
terrible.
with those guys.
Can't have that.
Kooks.
Yep. All right, Jim. That'll wrap it up for this week's Throwdown.
Yeah, tell us which album you like better, guys.
Yep.
Or gals.
Yes.
Leave a comment.
We won't throw rice at you.
We won't.
All right. Till next time.
See you next week.